Live from Casa del Rio in Nashville, Tennessee, just down the river from the Grand Ole Opry, it's the Dreamers Road with Stephanie Urbina Jones and the Honky Tonk Mariachi. Grab a seat, grab a drink, saddle up, and let's take a ride down this Dreamers Road. Vámonos, y'all.
Hola, mis amigos. Stephanie Urbina Jones here, and I have a special guest here in the house, Patterson Barrett. You guys, we have the most exciting show for you today. One of my amigas de corazón, a Latina rock star. I love her so much. TISH HINOJOSA is going to be joining us. But before we get there, I'm going to sing a little song with Patterson about gypsy dreams. Let's go! Woo! If you look in her eyes, you can see the moon rise on the Costa's face. Feel the wind and the grass, watch a thunderstorm pass across the Texas plain. Deep down in her heart is the sound of guitars that tell the rain. She's always dancing, forever romancing those gypsies. Ever since she was a little girl, she's always been this way. You can be part of her world, but you can never make her change. So if you think you might like to see the moon rise on the coast to stay, feel the wind and the grass, watch a thunderstorm pass across the Texas plain. If deep down in your heart is the sound of guitars and tambourine, you could be dancing forever, romancing your gypsy. Love her or leave her, you gotta believe in my gypsy dream. Cha-cha-cha. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you, Mr. Patterson Barrett.
You're welcome.
You guys, welcome to the Dreamers Road. I have really enjoyed bringing you this show, these stories of all these great dreamers, each one chosen, curated, so to speak, from my heart because they've moved mine. And I hope their story moves yours. Texas. I'm so excited to bring you this woman. She has been on my radar, living in my heart since I was, in high school, to be honest with you. Growing up, small town, Latina girl, there was very few of us that were musicians, poets, country music stars, and covering all stages all over the world. When I moved to Austin after I grew up in the small town of Fredericksburg, there she was, this gorgeous Latina, not only making music, but she was on the side of the truck. She was, her face, her spirit, her heart was on the Corona trucks down on 6th Street. And over time, I just followed her. I was a giant starstruck fan, to be really honest with you all. As fate would have it, a few years down the road, one very special night, it was the Latina night at the Bluebird, and the Bluebird had asked me to gather some of my amigas, some friends that could come and we could share and celebrate the Hispanic heritage. And so I called Patricia Vaughn, and Patricia said, "Hey, let's call TISH HINOJOSA." I'm like, "What? TISH HINOJOSA? Really? You know her?" She's like, "Yeah, we met in Germany." And she called TISH, and like within an hour, it was on. And so I guess about 2.5 years ago, our Dreamers Road crossed in person at the Bluebird Cafe. And you guys, that night was so special. I've played there before, I've had the honor, but this Latina night with this gentleman, also James Slater, people were dancing on the pews at the Bluebird. There was really magic happening. And before we knew it, within a few weeks, we realized, oh my gosh, we've got to make music. And so we did. We have made a lot of music and a lot of joy, and we have become amigas de corazón, friends of the heart. You're going to get to know a lot about TISH Hinojosa through this next hour together. But before we get there, I want to show you where our roads came together, here with our sister, Patricia Van, and in honor of International Women's Day, celebrating women, the best friends. I mean, I hate to say this, girls, but sometimes men come and go, but amigas de corazón are there forever. Here's TISH Hinojosa, Patricia Van, and Stephanie Urbina Jones, the Texicana Mamas, amigas de corazón.
Broken heart. Ay, 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 mis amigas, let's go have some fun. Ay, mis hermanas, amigas del corazón. Like Frida and Diego, life's a tornado, a telenovela of love.
We had so much fun making that quarantine video. But long before there was the Texicana Mamas, there was this beautiful woman, young woman, Latina, from San Antonio, Texas, TISH Hinojosa. She was taking not only Texas, the country music, but the world by storm, and was opening hearts and mind with her stories, with sharing about her culture, sharing about the things that she loved and the things that mattered. By the time I met her or came to know of her, I remember seeing this video right here. And I too, my family from the west side of town. Here's a video, TISH Hinojosa.
Now here's TISH Hinojosa.
Where he grew into a man. He fixed cars and worked the wars and raised a family. San Antonio
gracias.
I just love that song and love watching her. You know, she was and is loved and respected by, you know, so many musicians and artists in all different genres, which you're going to get to hear about. But I really loved and wanted to share with y'all a video where she is so playfully enjoying and singing with some of Texas' very best. Mr. Joey Lee is in this next video, the late Hal Ketchum, and one of my favorite artists, songwriters, Mr. Kevin Welch. So you guys check this next video out, Tish Hinojosa.
I'm over listening to your alibis. I'm over listening to your silver tongue lies. I'm still infatuated, and where my heart's related, I'm not through loving you yet. Love and romance have had the best of me. I've followed blindly, though I've clearly seen you walk the line unnetted, and I'm the one who said it. I'm not through loving you yet. I may stand by, but I'm no fool. There's more than one way round the rule. Someday the tide is gonna change, and you'll be wondering where I've been. Sometimes the hunter's line falls prey back to the one that got away. It comes back uninvited, and you're not gonna fight it. I'm not through loving you yet. I'm over listening to your alibis. I'm over listening to your silver tongue lies. I'm still infatuated, and where my heart's related, I'm not through loving you yet. I'm not through loving you yet.
Wow. I hope y'all enjoyed that as much as I did. I'm not through loving you yet. What a hit song with amazing artists. You guys, I'm so honored tonight to introduce you to my amiga de corazon. Mike's going to show us a few pictures as I introduce Miss Tish Hinojosa. Tish Hinojosa is a singer-songwriter from Austin, Texas. Hinojosa's blend of folk, country, Latino, and pop has an undeniable far-reaching appeal, garnering her accolades such as a White House concert at the invitation of President and Mrs. Clinton, and teaming up with artists such as Joan Baez, Booker T. Jones, Flaco Jimenez, Pete Seeger, and Dwight Yoakam. She's recorded as an independent artist as well as for A&M, Warner Brothers, and Rounder Records, and has been a featured artist on Austin City Limits, A Prairie Home Companion, and other NPR programs. With 17 CDs to her name, Tish Hinojosa's distinct sound has gained her much critical acclaim. Tish has toured extensively throughout the U.S. and Europe and continues to draw a loyal and growing audience. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce you to Miss Tish Hinojosa. Hola!
Hola, mi amiga de corazón.
Hola, mi amiga de corazón. Oh, it's so good to see you, Tish. How are you doing?
Doing great. Well, actually things are getting better.
They
You know,
are.
we
Yes.
are, it's a
We're-
new year. It's the 2021 is so significantly more wonderful than, you know, actually even small things, even though we had this big Texas thing that happened a couple of weeks ago, and we all suffered a lot through it. But things in the world are just getting better, and the COVID thing is getting better, and hopefully we're all going to be able to finally tour as the Texicana Mamas. We
Absolutely.
made a plan 2 years ago.
Absolutely. Well, we will talk about that. It's been such an amazing gift for me, as you've heard me talk about you, to
Thank you.
get to know you and to make music with you and to write with you. Oh my God, you are, you don't know about writing with people until you actually write with them. You don't know. And I know now. You are so gifted. I mean, you dream songs, and I just love
That's
the
who I
way you
get to work with. I get to work with Stephanie Urbina Jones, and we can write a song in 30 minutes.
We have more to make. Well, we're going to get to that, but I really, Tish, I get to spend time with you, but I don't get to really know the insider story, what really made and shaped you. I'm getting chills as I say that. I want to know. So let's start with where you started. Let's start from where you were born, and obviously on the west side of San Antonio. What was it like, your childhood? What shaped you? And I also, before I get going, I want to tell you that one of my friends, her son, who's 25, you're one of his all-time favorite artists. He just thinks you're magic, which you are. Something happens to you when you sing. So what made TISH HINOJOSA that?
Well, I'm the youngest of 13 in my family. And, we were, my dad was a, auto mechanic, but he always worked, and, he managed to keep us afloat. And, my parents made very sure that we got Catholic school education, and we got music lessons. We had, we got everything that anybody could possibly have. And my mother was very influential in all of that. But early on, the thing that caught my ear was because my parents are both from Mexico, from my dad from Tamaulipas, my mom from Coahuila. They met in San Antonio, and he was a widower with 7 children, and he met her, who had a 2-year-old, and then they decided to form a family. So they had 8 automatic children, and then suddenly they have 5 daughters that come into the picture. So, we all love each other as a family. We're not like, them and us or anything like that. It's like all of us adore the fact that we're all connected. And music was such a big, an important thing, because my mom, as a young woman, she had a voice. And every time I've explored her history with relatives and some of her friends from where she grew up, she had the best voice, and she sang in their choir, and she had dreams of studying opera and stuff. But her life just wasn't. She had a very difficult life, and she ended up coming to San Antonio to look for work. And so she gave up that dream, and the only ones that got to hear her sing was us. And she would sing us these classic songs like Estrellita or Historia de un Amor, or, we would and she'd sing them a cappella for us. And also the Mexican radio station was always tuned to KCOR, where they played different programs. It was all kind of like European radio stations do. Like, they had the Tejano radio hour, they had the classic radio hour, they had the tropical radio hour, and then they'd say the rosary.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know. The rosary was always at 6 p.m.
That's beautiful.
Anyway, but the songs we got to hear all day long, and me as the youngest, I got to stay home and listen to mostly my mother and her comadres speaking Spanish,
and that Mexican radio in the background in the kitchen. And my ear was more tuned to the radio than to the gossip that they were talking about. And I just loved it. And to me, that's what started my like love of music and love of Mexican music. And it just felt so natural to me.
Wow.
And, so that was my beginning of music. But I didn't realize that I had talent until I became a teenager. You know, I mean, I loved singing along to pop radio like everybody else did. But
tell us what happened. Tell us what happened.
When I entered my freshman year of high school, my friend Becky, who taught me to play my first guitar chords, and, you know, they were playing the folk mass. That was when they, you know, you could have folk mass because we went to church every morning. And she said, "My God, Tish, you have a vibrato." What's that?
Right.
Is it dangerous? I didn't know. Well, she said, "Oh my gosh, you really have a voice." I go, "I don't know." Like, anyway, so I quickly learned. I mean, guitar playing came really easy to me, and singing all those beautiful songs of the early 70s that we sang in church, actually, you know, at that time, like, you know, Paul Simon and Garfunkel, Bridge Over Troubled Waters, and, you know, just all that stuff was like, it was like that became just like the life of my music. And so my entire high school life became my music. You know, some of my studies suffered a little bit, but a lot of my teachers were very good about letting me focus on, you know, this was the 70s, right? So, you know, they would say, "Okay, Tish is kind of a special student. She's not really great at math or algebra." You know, like for English class, they'd say, okay, my teacher would say, "Okay, here's a project that you know, go do some research." And I did this I got to do a whole presentation in a lecture hall for all my fellow students about the history of American music from Civil War to present.
Wow.
And I brought up all these songs, and I got my friends to come up on stage in the lecture room, and we sang all these beautiful lullabies from the Civil War. And, you know, like, it was an amazing, you know, it's like I know, I understand music, and I understand the history for some crazy reason. It's like, anyway, so that's kind of how I got.
Wow, that is so cool. It's like the Dreamer's Road really was opening up for you. These little cosmic breadcrumbs were already happening in your heart and along the way. So then what happened? Like, so then how did you get to Nashville? Was that the next thing? Was it the Kerrville Folk Festival? Was it Nashville?
Kerrville Folk Festival. They had a songwriting, you know, the songwriting competition. I don't like the word competition, but the songwriting, you know, whatever. And when I was about 20 years old, and I dreamed of this, like, I thought, oh my God, I love this Kerrville folk thing, but you know, I don't know how to write songs. Like, you know, it's like I sang every song. I sang all the Joni Mitchell, Linda Ronstadt, you know, James Taylor, Carly Simon, you know, like, you know, on the Riverwalk, because I got a job on the Riverwalk for a couple of years. And then, you know, then I'm saying, but I'm not a songwriter. But then Rod Kennedy, the director of the Kerrville Folk Festival, came out where I was going to San Antonio College. It's my college. I'm going to college. Anyway, I was going to college at San Antonio College. And he came because they started this, like, they had a coffee house session there, kind of like the Bluebird. They had a coffee, you know, house thing. And the woman, the director of the you know, the student union thing, said, "Okay, I like the way you sing. It's like, you can do every Friday for $50. You know, you have your own slot." I said, "Okay." So I'm so glad. It's like, wow. So I'm there. Then Rod Kennedy comes and hears me sing. And I'm singing like folk songs and like, you know, like whatever. And then he says, I would love, and for one thing, I thought he was God. You know,
Of
when
course, yes.
I realized that he was home to listen to me
Right.
at San Antonio College. Like I said, oh my God. And then he sat down with me. He said, well, he said, I'd love to have you play at the Kerrville Folk Festival, but we're a songwriter festival. Like we honor songwriters. So you have to start writing songs. So I suggest you get busy and start writing some songs so that we can, I said, I never thought I was a songwriter. Never. I wanted to be Linda Ronstadt. I wanted to be a popular singer. Mm-hmm. And somebody would someday happen upon the Riverwalk and say, oh, she's a great singer. Mm-hmm. Let's sign her to a record deal. That's going to happen. But anyway, I said, okay. So I wrote a few songs and I entered them into the songwriting contest, and I'll be damned if I was one of the two winners. I mean, actually, they chose winners that year, 1979.
Wow.
John Ems, who actually went on to write the great pop hit for Married to okay. No, what's her name? Oh my gosh, Trisha Yearwood.
Trisha Yearwood.
John Ems. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
John Ems, that he's in love with the girl. Anyway.
Yeah, I love that
John
song.
Ems wrote that song. And
wow.
I both won that 19 because they couldn't decide.
Well, that's
I both won that one year at the Kerrville. So to me, that just gave me confidence. It just
that was really the next start and the next cause. That's just amazing. That story. I never knew that.
That was the next step to my career.
The next step, and I have to.
I actually call myself a songwriter. I said, okay,
right.
I'm a songwriter. So I moved to northern New Mexico, and I bought a piano, and my piano became my big instrument, and I wrote my first song, Amanecer, which I wrote for my mother because I missed her. And it's a really sweet song. And that will always be kind of my first real song because it's appeared on a couple of my records. And Amanecer is about daybreak and thinking about someone that you've left. And I felt really bad because I was the youngest of my family and I was the last to leave home. And I felt that I had kind of abandoned my mom to pursue my dream of music. But in New Mexico, I totally got into country music. And Michael Martin Murphy, who was the big star in the area, and he hired me to be his backup singer. And so, and then I traveled in the bus with him. And then, he and I would have nice conversations about you're no hanky panky.
No hanky panky.
No hanky panky. I was married. By then I was married and I had my son Adam, who was born in Nashville in 1984. But he was such a wonderful mentor to me. And he introduced me to people in Nashville, at Mel Tillis's publishing company, which then they hired me because they liked one of my songs. And they said, we like the way you sing too. So if you'll just move here, we'll hire you to be our in-house demo singer. I said,
wow.
Okay. So, so that's kind of how things evolved. It's I had no idea I was going to have a future in country music.
That's just, that is so amazing. I love to hear this story. And I love that you just pulling the thread and really letting people hear how the magic happens. We just show up with our heart. There you are at the San Antonio College doing what you love.
Right.
Rod Kennedy. You moved to, there's a bigger plan at play here. And then you're in Nashville and you're a demo singer. And then what? And then what happened, Tim?
After that, well, then I was singing back up for Michael Murphy. But then the producers at Mel Tillis's, who they produced all the demo sessions, was Buddy Cannon. And Buddy became, he said, okay, you're going to be the artist. I want to be the producer. We're going to do these sessions where you're going to sing these great old songs, like old country songs, Kitty Wells, you know, Webb Pierce, and we're going to pitch you because we want to re-promote this old, and you sing really great old country. And I said, okay, I'm new to it, but I think I can do it. And so Buddy Cannon and I were a package. Like he started pitching us to record labels in Nashville as him as producer and me as a singer.
Wow.
But we fell on our face because none of them really wanted it. And that was really sad. It was really sad because, you know, Buddy and Billy, his wife, were like my son's extra parents. Like Billy took care of Adam every time we were at the studio. And I really wanted to make this Nashville thing work, but somehow, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was not the right time. You know, they didn't sign as many women. I was a woman of color. Like, you know, I thought my Spanish would be an addition to, you know, an asset. And, you know, we talked about changing my last name.
Wow.
You know, like I said, what last name am I going to pick? Like,
right?
Well, who am I going to be? Who am I going to be? Like, I couldn't think of anything. Buddy couldn't think of anything. It's like, this is my name. This is my name. I'm going to stand for it. So that's kind of how. So the Nashville thing didn't work out, and I went back to New Mexico and then back to Austin, and it just ended up that like crazy thing that happened in New Mexico, where I was playing at this club for a long time, and I heard that the guy that was hosting, that played there most of the time, because now this is country dancing, right? And you know, I was like the second person that had the biggest audience at the club. And now I had 2 children, 1987, 88, and I asked for a raise from the club because I heard that he was making a lot more money than I was.
Oh, good for you.
I said, okay, I draw in a pretty good, a really decent, and I work really hard. And plus I'm raising 2 kids, you know, babies. Like I'm still breastfeeding. Jesus Christ.
Come on.
A little bit more. But anyway, I was totally turned down, and that just like it changed everything. It changed everything. That's when my husband Craig we both decided law school for him so he can be a real law school and, you know, be able to be a, you know, strong manager. And me, like, okay, like I'm going to become a better artist. Like I already know I'm a good songwriter at this point. Now I have 2 kids and we're really poor and we're being denied something important. And so we just left, went back to San Antonio where I took care of my mom who was really falling ill. And I'm so glad we had that opportunity to spend with my son, who was a baby, her last like 9 months of her life, you know, with our family. And we lived with her. And then, you know, after that, it was just like moving to Austin. It was like, okay, the reason I never moved to Austin before was because Austin's a songwriter town. And I never thought myself as a songwriter. I was not a Willie Nelson. I was not, you know, Guy Clark or, you know, like
well, you are to me, but that's what you were thinking maybe at the time.
Yeah. And so I said, well, but now I actually have the Kerrville Folk Festival Award.
Right.
So now I am officially a songwriter. So I can move to Austin. I can do this. And then first thing happens, like we moved to Austin. Craig got accepted to the UT Law School. I got gigs with like everybody wanted, like all my favorite musicians, Joe Ely, Butch Hancock, Jimmy Gilmore, like, you know, we all totally connected. And I got such a great support from all the musicians that it's like, okay, this is the right thing. This is a very good right thing. And then before I know it, I did a showcase at the Bluebird.
I didn't know that.
Which I had done before. I had done them before and I was so pissed off. I said, damn it, I'm here with my babies. And I booked this showcase at the Bluebird. It was 1988. I took my niece to help me with my children. We were so poor still. I said we couldn't afford a hotel. So we drove all the way, stayed with Buddy and Billy. And my niece came to babysit the babies, and I did my one night at the Bluebird. I said, this is my last time I'm going to do this. And there was a showcase. It was myself. It was a couple of other artists. And I said, I'm just going to do my little set and leave, go back home, and, that's it. But the weird thing was Patrick Clifford was in the audience, and he's the A&M Records guy that was searching for artists. And he came to me after the show. He said, I like your stuff. That West Side of Town song is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I said, let me, can you send me a tape of demos? Like, do you have anything else? So the crazy thing was, I went home and I told, I pulled this card out. I said, Craig, and by then I was playing with Marvin already. And I said, hey, Marv, we can play. I've written more songs, so let's go in. So we found a cheap demo studio in Austin. It's like, let's just give it a try. So I did. It was the West Side of Town. It was the several songs that ended up being the main songs of my first A&M record. I sent that to Patrick. He took it to A&M, and they said, yeah, we'll sign her. We'll sign her.
Woo-hoo! Woo!
So they came and picked me up in a limousine. We lived in an apartment complex. I felt like, I was a drug dealer person. They're picking me up at 4 o'clock in the morning to fly me off to LA to, get acquainted and I'm going, this is all surreal, really surreal. My babies are sleeping in the apartment and, I'm being picked up by a limousine. It's anyway, life was crazy. And from then on, it got crazier. But I did get signed, and I got to make 2 beautiful records for A&M and work with Booker T. Jones. I worked with Los Lobos and, had just amazing, everything just exploded. And then I got a, famous booking agency. Then I got a famous management agency. And it's everything so my husband's in law school, and suddenly my career is going, so we're both working really hard at, we have 2 toddlers and, anyway, but we met, we did really,
Tish,
history.
that is just amazing. Thank you. That is I've never heard that story, and I really appreciate it because I think anybody that's got a dream in their heart, sometimes you just
dreams great. Dreams don't always come true because after my second recording at A&M, they dropped me like that from the label because they changed directions. They went with Janet Jackson, and they were going. A&M decided to take a totally, and A&M Records to me had been this dream label.
Absolutely.
Every songwriter and every developing. To me, it was about artist development. That's what I believed in. Artists, you stick with an artist. Their first records may not make it, but you stick with them, and it's gonna come about. You, what do you call it? You encourage them. You develop. It's called artist development.
Right.
But suddenly, A&M made this really right-hand thing because Janet Jackson wanted to sign with them. I'm not sure how all that was, but they dropped me on, Booker T had produced my second record, and it was wonderful. And suddenly, just on one day, they said, before the record was going to be out, and tour was already planned, everything, and they just said, sorry, you're not on the label anymore.
Well, I can only imagine that was among the highs and some of the lows that you experienced, some of the lows, highs and the lows, but through it all, 17 albums, you played some of the most, for me as an artist, the stages and the moments that are, in city limits, you know, playing for President Clinton and having your babies. In some ways, to me as a woman, you've really, I mean, you've been the Latina Loretta Lynn now that I hear your story of hauling your babies in the car.
If I could tell you stories.
Right? I love that.
When
I
we
love
traveled in Europe, we'd take the kids, and the kids got head lice.
Oh my God.
Some stupid some club that we played in made us stay like in this like kind of creepy place in Norway or something like that. Like we were like in Norway. It was dark, deep, dark winter. And we're with our band and we're with everybody. And it's like we're staying in this like sleazy place. And I'll be damned, like a couple of days later, my kids are like scratching.
Oh no, dude.
I'm going, oh my God, we're in Norway and we have head lice.
Oh my God.
So everybody had to deal with it. Like, I was like, you know, I went to the pharmacy. I had to go like do this, do that, you know, take them back, do the shower, get the fine tooth comb.
Oh
Like,
my gosh.
yes,
I
talking to Loretta Lynn type of.
Yes. But you may have the cake with that song. I mean, well, listen, I know these people that are here want to hear that many of them know your music already, but we would love to hear something from you live. What would you like to play?
I would love to sing something for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, my amiga hermana Stephanie. Thank you. One of the most important songs, I think that one of my favorites that I've written, because it was really personal, and is about my family, my aunt, my mom. You know, they did not have a great life in Mexico, and my mom and her sister both came to the United States. Mom came to San Antonio. My tia Fina, Josefina, went to California, and she became a farm worker and raised her children. And they had a difficult life, and actually a lot of difficulty and you know, terrible things. We're talking like the 1960s and 70s. But my aunt was like such a resilient person, and she lived well into her 90s. And I got to see her every time I go to California. And I actually took her to a farm worker. Okay, so the song I'm going to sing is my song I wrote for the farm workers. And because of her story, and I took her to a farm worker convention as my guest. And, you know, when they introduced me, I introduced her, and I said, this is my person that I admire. And, you know, she's been the resilient person that lived a difficult life and was a farm worker. And like, oh, my aunt was like, no, she was like, she loved the limelight. She just stood up, little viejita, and she was like waving. So everybody fell in love with her. But anyway, this is the song I wrote because I was inspired by her. And this is a song about a farm working family. It's called There's Something in the Rain. Mom and Dad have worked the fields. I don't know how many years. I'm just a boy, but I know how. And go to work when times are slow. We have seen our country's roads, Bakersfield to Illinois. And when troubles come our way, oh yeah, I've seen my daddy pray. There's something wrong with little sister. I hear her crying by my side. Mama's shaking as she holds her. We try to hold her through the night. And Mom says, close your eyes, mijito. dream of some place far from here, like the pictures in your school books. Someday you can take us there. There must be something in the rain. I'm not sure just what that means. Abuelita talks of sins of man, of dust that's in our hands. There must be something in the rain. Well, what else could stop this pain? Those airplanes cure the plants so things can grow. Oh no, must be something in the rain. Little sister's gone away. Mom and Dad farm again. And me, I think I understand about our life, about our land. Both talkers talk and dreamers dream. I will find a place between. I'm afraid, but I believe that we can change these hurting fields. 'Cause there's something in the rain, but there's more here in our hands. Abuelita talks of sins of man, of dust that's in our hands. And the rains are pouring down from the growers to the towns. And until we break the killing chains, there's something in the rain.
I love that song. I love that song. I hope you all are enjoying Miss TISH Hinojosa. We're here on the Dreamers Road. We're getting an insider's view story of my amiga de corazon. And tell me, Tish, so let's talk just a little bit. You know, I asked you about, many people may or may not know that you have gotten to work with a couple of women. We're celebrating women this month that you really, really respect. You know, you were one of my icons. Your icon you actually got to work with. Tell us about Linda. Tell us about Joan Baez.
Linda and Joan. I mean, they were my heroes, you know, when I was a teenager, right, exactly. Like, you know, Joan Baez made me love just music, just, you know, her songs, her voice, her everything. And, you know, and at the same time, on the other hand, just a little bit later came Linda Ronstadt, who was like the pop icon, you know, country pop, you know, everything that she was amazing. When I learned that she was not only, you know, the pop singer, but Latina. And I was like going, oh my God. And then I learned also that Joan Baez had really Latino roots.
Yeah.
You know, her father's from Puebla, Mexico, and I have connections to Puebla, Mexico. I'm going, oh my God, we have so many connections. Anyway, but in my life, the wonderful thing was that I got to connect with both of them. Linda Ronstadt getting, being contacted by Linda Ronstadt because she wants to record one of my songs was like she invites me to stay at her house, and she took me to the Lucas Ranch studio where she was recording the song so I could hear her playing, singing the songs. Like, I stayed at her house in, Pacific Heights, San Francisco, and she was such a beautiful, wonderful host. And, around the same time was when Joan Baez was doing her Ring Them Bells record collection, and she invited me to sing with her, and we recorded at the club. It's now closed, but the club in New York, which the Bottom Line, New York. And you know what? I had never been to a Joan Baez concert, and the first time I got to see her was standing behind the screen, watching her on stage.
Wow!
I'm about to go out there and sing with Joan. That was wonderful. And then again, I got to hang out with Joan and her son, and I introduced her to Cascarones.
Wow! You brought
she didn't know it was around Easter time, and we didn't know about the confetti eggs. And so we went to this diner after the show where we sang together. I said, Joan, I brought you these like cascarones. I said, it's like they're kind of like the Mexican Easter thing. And she says, oh, great. So she grabs one and she breaks it on my head right there in the restaurant.
That's awesome.
Was hilarious. And luckily she's Joan. They didn't out of the rest. They didn't kick us out.
Well, listen, before you put that guitar up, would you play us that song that Linda Ronstadt? I mean, come on. Talk about a curator of songs. I mean, for Linda Ronstadt to cut your song that you wrote, wow.
I'd love to sing the song. It's in Espanol, and the theme of the song is crossing the border. It's a person, and they're thinking about their loved one they've left behind and telling them, like in their thoughts, that they're going to, go work and earn money so they can bring their loved one, so they can have their family together again. This is a very simple song. I wrote this song in like 30 minutes. It was just like one of those, just came out. But anyway, this became Linda Ronstadt wanted to record this song, and I was so happy about that. But she heard a lot of my songs, but this is the one she wanted to record. It's called Donde Voy, Where I Go. Madrugada me ve corriendo bajo cielo que empieza color. No salga sol a nombrarme a la fuerza de la migración, un dolor que siento en el pecho, es mi alma que hiere de amor. Pienso en ti y tus brazos que esperan, tus besos y tu pasión. ¿Dónde voy? ¿Dónde voy? Esperanza es mi destinación. Solo estoy por el monte prófugo voy. Días, semanas y meses pasan muy lejos de ti. Muy pronto te llegará dinero. Yo te quiero tener junto a mí. El trabajo me llena las horas. Tu risa no puedo olvidar. Vivir sin tu amor no es vida. Vivir de prófugo es igual. ¿Dónde voy? ¿Dónde voy? Esperanza es mi destinación. Solo estoy por el monte, prófugo voy. ¿Dónde voy? ¿Dónde voy? Esperanza es mi destinación. Solo estoy por el monte, prófugo voy.
Oh, Tish. Oh my gosh.
Profugo means fugitive, and that's, I think, a lot of how people feel when they're, they don't belong, and they feel sad because they don't belong, and trying to find a way to, to belong, and it's a very sad journey. So anyway, thank you for letting me share that.
That is so special. I forget, and I hear it. It's just so touching.
Well, you've written some beautiful songs passionate songs about crossing the border. So I think the border crossing thing is a really important issue and image and story that a lot of cultures have to tell. And that's, yeah.
Well, and back to Linda Ronstadt, I just wanted to let everybody know that then Tish and I and Patricia Van, the Texarkana Mamas, then we recorded a song that Linda wrote, which she's not known for her songwriting, right? And she wrote Lo Siento Mi Vida,
yes,
which we cut and honored her. It was so amazing to sing with you on that. So it's a full circle, right?
I think we did. I think we paid her a really nice tribute with that. When I play our CD and listen to that, I think it's it's really beautiful, and hear three Latinas singing this harmony in that beautiful song. I think that's like a beautiful tribute to her father, and to Kenny, that they wrote this, or she and her father mostly probably wrote this song.
So beautiful. Well, Tish, I want to thank you. We're coming to the end of our interview, but before we part ways tonight, I want to ask you if there's anything, because I know that you've inspired me. Do you have any words, any things that you would share to young dreamers that are dreaming anything in their life? That they want to be a lawyer, they want to write a song, they want to have a baby, they want to create something in their life. What would you say to them? They want to cross the border.
Well, for one thing, that there's a lot of that. I mean, there are so many things still that, so many, like Rivers to Cross is another beautiful song. But I think the important thing is to have some faith in yourself, and even though you don't even think that you have something, there is something, and always pushing the boundaries. That's the important thing. And for young people, like me, for instance, I never thought I was going to be a songwriter. I thought I'd be discovered, and she's going to be a singer, popular singer. No, but something, Rod Kennedy, for one, pushed me and said, hey, you can't play the folk festival if you're not a songwriter. Like, I never thought about songwriting. So always think about that other possibility. That, to me, that's the thing. It's like, don't ever say that you can't do something, is, to me, any message to anybody. Like, if you think you can't do something, well then it's like, why can't you? How can you do it?
Why can't you do it? Why can't you do it?
Yeah.
Well, I think in all the interviews
You've
that
had your, I'm sure you've had experiences like that too, where you push yourself into this place like, okay, I can do this. And I have so many funny stories about my mom and her comadres, where San Antonio history. This is crazy. One of my mom's best friends went to not Joski's, but the other really Frost Brothers.
Frost Brothers,
and they were hiring people in their like where they sew and what do you call it, fix things or alterations.
Tailoring, yes.
Yeah, tailoring and alterations. And my mom's friend just like went and applied. She didn't even know how to use a sewing machine, but she said, I know how to do this. I can do it. And she ended up working there for like 30 years.
Wow.
You just like, so my mom had strong women friends and I saw them. They were my comadres that I grew up with. I'm going, and they'd laugh about those stories. Like first, you say, sure, I can do this. I can do this. And then you get in, it's like,
Say yes and figure out how later.
Sí se puede.
Say, sí se puede. You go in and you, like you figure out how it's done. Like, it's like, wow, the tenacity of this kind of thinking. But my mom thought that way too. My mom's life would have been impossible. And she kept always pushing her boundaries to give us a better life. And
I can't think of a better way to bring this interview to a close. That where we started, the very beginning with your parents and your family and the love that your parents had and they gave you. And Tish, I just love you so much. It's really brings tears to my heart and my eyes that I got to live my dream and not only know you, but to make music with you. And we have more music to make.
There's more to come.
More to come. But before we leave, Tish, we want to put up her website. You can keep up with Tish, everything right here. Mike, can you bring up Tish's website? mundotish.com. You guys, she has 17 albums, and every one of them, you heard just a taste of what she does. She's an amazing artist so be sure and go to Mundo Tish and get all her music. And before long, she and we will be out on the road. And so come and join us.
We so look forward to that.
Me too. Well, Tish Hinojosa, I love you so much, amiga de corazón. And we're going to go on to Honky Tonk Trivia on honoring you.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you too.
Well, here we go, you guys. We are at the time for the Honky Tonk Trivia. You guys got to hear this amazing song, A Donde Voy? I'm speaking Spanglish here, that Tish wrote. She recorded it, and then Linda Ronstadt heard it and recorded it. But there was always this magical version that Tish did. And if you can believe it or not, it became a multi-platinum hit in some country around the world. So tonight's Honky Tonk Trivia question is, what foreign country was Tish Hinojosa's song, A Donde Voy, Where I Go, a multi-platinum hit? Was it A, China? Was it B, Italy? Was it C, Mexico? Was it D, South Korea? Was it E, Switzerland? Was it F, Chile? I'm going to ask you again, and I'm going to tell you guys, the winner tonight is going to win their very own Honky Tonk Mariachi chocolate con chili pepper. Honky Tonk chocolate, you guys. This is some amazing chocolate, and we're going to send it to you if you win. So the question of the night is, what foreign country was Tish Hinojosa's song, A Donde Voy, Where I Go, a multi-platinum hit? Was it A, China? Was it B, Italy? Was it C, Mexico? Was it D, South Korea? Was it... The answer is Did we have someone out there? Does anybody think they know the answer? Mike, did you just give them the answer? I want to know what anybody is thinking out there. Once again, I'm going to repeat the question, you guys. What foreign country was Tish Hinojosa A Donde Voy a multi-platinum hit? Was it China, A? Was it B, Italy? Was it C, Mexico? Was it D, South Korea? Or was it E, Switzerland, or F, Chile? Now, who is going to win the Honky Tonk chocolate tonight? I don't know. Mike might have given up the answer. Well, I'll tell you what, you guys, we are going to move on and show you this brand new merch video that we have. We have an amazing things from this Honky Tonk chocolate. I have Fun in the Sun sombreros that are the most amazing gifts to give to people or to yourself, ladies, to celebrate International Women's Day for yourself or Mother's Day coming up. And then I'm going to be singing one more song live with Mr. Patterson Barrett. But check out the merch that we have here.
We hope you're enjoying this broadcast of Dreamers Road with Stephanie Urbina Jones and the Honky Tonk Mariachi. You can support the Dreamers Road through music and merchandise. Visit www.honkytonkmariachi.com.
Well, we are back, and the answer to that Honky Tonk trivia question is D, South Korea, you guys. Can you believe that? Like, Tish is a giant superstar in a lot of places around the world, but especially South Korea. I hope we get to go there with her. Well, you guys, before we end tonight, I wanted to invite Patterson Barrett and to sing a new song to you that is going to be on my next Honky Tonk Mariachi album. Muchísimas gracias, you guys. We'll see you 2 weeks down the Dreamers Road. This is Until We Meet Again. Subscribe, share us, and like us. Baby, don't you cry. This is not goodbye. Let the love we had put a smile on your face. Remember, I just a thought away. I'll see you soon. Until then, I will be missing you. I'll keep you in my heart and soul, my friend. Vaya con Dios till we meet again. Just like pictures melody, capture timeless memory. Your love is like a song playing on and on in my heart. Even when we're apart, I'll see you soon. Until then, I will be missing you. I'll keep you in my heart and soul, my friend. Vaya con Dios. Muchísimas gracias, y'all. And we will see you 2 weeks from now down the Dreamers Road. From my heart to yours. Adios, mis amigos.
Muchísimas gracias, y'all. Thank you for watching The Dreamers Road with Stephanie Urbina Jones and the Honky Tonk Mariachi. You can keep up with us on Facebook, Instagram, and by everything at honkytonkmariachi.com. Remember, above all, some dreams are worth dreaming a lifetime to live. Muchísimas gracias. Adios, mis amigos.